You keep praying, but the words feel thin. You finish, and nothing settles. You wonder when prayer stopped feeling real. You still bow your head, you still say the right things, but inside, you feel like you're talking into quiet air. You tell yourself this is just a season, but seasons are supposed to change, and this one feels stalled. You ask whether you've done something wrong, whether God is distant, or whether you're the one slowly drifting without noticing. You try to pray longer. You try to pray harder. The emptiness doesn't move. You remember when prayer felt alive, when silence felt full instead of hollow. Now, silence feels like unanswered mail. You don't say this out loud, but part of you wonders if God is still listening, and another part is afraid of what the answer might be. Psalm 13:1. You feel a flicker of recognition there, not comfort, just honesty. You tell yourself faithful people shouldn't think this way, yet the thoughts come anyway, uninvited and persistent. You're still obeying, still showing up, but something inside you is tired of pretending this feels normal. You try gratitude, you list blessings, but the list feels disconnected from the ache. You tell yourself God is sovereign, that He knows what He's doing, but that knowledge doesn't quiet the question rising underneath. What if the emptiness isn't absence? What if it's exposure? What if prayer feels empty because something else has been filling the space? You pause at that thought. It feels uncomfortable, almost intrusive. You examine your days, the noise, the constant input. You pray, but your mind never fully arrives. Your body's still, your heart is scattered. You don't doubt God's power. You doubt your own attention. And that realization doesn't relieve you, it sharpens the tension. Psalm 46:10. The verse doesn't rush you. It doesn't explain. It waits. You sit with the idea that silence isn't the enemy, that distraction might be. And suddenly, prayer feels less empty and more exposed. You realize how often you rush prayer to get relief, how quickly you want peace, how rarely you stay when peace doesn't come. You want prayer to fix the feeling. God may be trying to reveal it. That difference unsettles you. You ask whether prayer has become transactional, a habit aimed at results, a discipline without surrender. You don't like where this leads, because it means the emptiness isn't God pulling away, it might be God refusing to be used. Psalm 62:8. The verse lands quietly, not as reassurance, but as invitation. You notice how rarely you pour out your heart, not your words, your heart. You've learned how to sound faithful, but faithfulness has started costing less, and prayer feels the weight of that. Still, the emptiness lingers, because insight doesn't equal relief, and understanding doesn't fill the gap. You wait for something to shift. It doesn't. The silence remains steady. Then another question surfaces. What if prayer feels empty because God is asking for presence, not performance, and you've been giving Him structure instead? That thought stays with you. It presses gently but firmly, like a truth that won't argue. You realize how often you avoid quiet prayer, how quickly you end it, how uncomfortable it feels to stay without words, because silence removes control, and control has been your safety, even in prayer. Psalm 42:5. The verse doesn't lift you, it steadies you. It reminds you that heaviness isn't faithlessness. You see now that empty prayer might not be failure, it might be transition, a stripping away of noise, certainty, and emotional payoff. God may not be withholding Himself, He may be inviting you deeper than feelings, into obedience without sensation. That clarity doesn't feel warm, it feels weighty, and strangely honest. You understand that prayer isn't always meant to satisfy. Sometimes it's meant to align. Sometimes it's meant to humble. You're not being punished. You're being trained. And training rarely feels affirming while it's happening. The emptiness hasn't vanished, but it has meaning now. And meaning changes how you carry it. You stop asking when prayer will feel full again, and start asking who you are becoming in the quiet. That question stays with you. You realize prayer isn't empty. It's asking more of you than comfort. It's asking for presence, patience, and trust without feedback. So you keep praying, not to feel something, but to remain faithful when you don't. And that choice doesn't resolve the struggle, it reframes it. And now the silence no longer feels like abandonment, it feels like responsibility.